Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Music is a Journey. I'm Peter Scove and I'm very excited today because I get to introduce 5 bands to you and I have permission to feature music from at least 3 of them. So hey, let's cue the music. Alright, so this is very exciting. Let me tell you what's going to happen in this video here. First of all, I'm going to talk about a band that I really like. I have all 4 of their albums. The latest album just came out on Ripple Music in October. We're going to take a good long look at them. In fact, originally the video was going to be just about that band. However, I recently picked up some CDs from some other bands kind of local to my home area, and so I really liked the music I heard on those CDs and I wanted to talk about those bands as well. I've contacted everyone asking permission to use music, and 3 of the bands got back to me and said go ahead. And in the case of Ripple Music, I actually thought maybe I should contact them as well because a couple of the other bands, their releases I think are independent because I can't find any label written on the back of the CD. But the first band, their album came out on Ripple Music, and Ripple Music is a label that has quite a lot of like stoner rock or modern day heavy psychedelic type things, maybe doom metal as well. So I thought they sound like a pretty hefty label. Maybe I just better double check with them before I start playing the music, even though the band gave me permission. So anyway, I double checked with Ripple Music and they replied. Got a message from the CEO himself actually saying, please go right ahead then. Just put in a good word for Ripple Music. So there you go, Ripple Music. Check out what they have on their label. Okay, then after that we're going to take a look at some other bands. Now the first one is more of a hard rock band. So for those of you who are not so much into extreme metal, you'll probably want to stick around for this first part. But if you don't really like harsh, deep, like death growl vocals or black metal vocals, it's up to you to decide if you want to see what's coming next. However, the very last band might also be in your interest. And the other way around, if you're not so much into hard rock, maybe you want to skip the first part of this video. Nah, don't skip it. Stick around and just see what there is. You might like it. Okay, so let's get this ball rolling here. First band I want to talk about is La Chinga. And yes, I know, I just said in Spanish. So, yeah, a bit of a naughty word there. I actually had no idea, but a friend of mine whose kids speak Spanish overheard me the last time I talked about La Chinga in a video, which I think was 3 years ago. And they overheard me saying that and they all started laughing because I said naughty in Spanish. But anyway, so quick background history. The band started in 2011. We've got 3 members, same 3 members the whole time. Jason Solium on drums. He's also in charge of recording and production. We've got Ben Yardley on guitars, and I think he also does some backing vocals. He might also have a lead vocal or 2, I'm not sure. But the lead vocals on a couple of songs sound a bit different from the lead vocalist. The lead vocalist who also plays bass, going by the name of Carl Spackler. Yeah, actually, Belgian Jasper, that's a YouTube channel, Belgian Jasper. Belgian Jasper features a lot of Canadian metal artists and does interviews with various metal artists. So I saw a video of his recently with Carl Spackler, and I got to know his real name. Can I say so on my YouTube channel too? His real name is Chris Reed. Anyway, Chris Reed, aka Carl Spackler, did an interview with Belgian Jasper talking about the new album. Seems like a really cool guy. Certainly they're a really cool band. So what kind of music do they play? Well, this is just out and out 70s inspired hard rock done with modern recording technology. You got to think like these guys, they were born in the 70s, they grew up in the 70s, they went to the school of hard rock in the 70s, and anything like their videos just includes all sorts of like memorabilia from the 70s. There's just, you know, clips from magazines and from old videos or old movies, and it's all this like, you know, wizards and warlocks, or, you know, stuntmen on motorcycles, or like B horror movies of zombies on motorcycles, whatever. That's their thing. That's what they do. I mean, there's so much into the 70s. Probably their sweat even smells like the 70s. What's their music like? You can easily pick out inspirations from Led Zeppelin, AC/DC. There's also a bit of Judas Priest at times. I picked up on a bit of Nazareth at a moment. There's also times where it's probably something more along the lines of UFO or Thin Lizzy's heavier stuff. So if you like that kind of thing, but at the same time, because they're a modern band, I'm also picking up similarities to bands like Wolf Mother or the Datsuns, or anyway, those kinds of, the White Stripes, that's it, the White Stripes. Those kinds of bands that came out in the early 2000s that were kind of retro rock bands, but with a kind of modern style to them. So something along those lines there. So we already heard a bit of the music there. The opening music of this video is the opening track from their latest album. The track is called Light It Up. We're going to talk about the latest album shortly. But first, let's take a trip back to their debut album, simply called La Chinga. Oh, heck, when did this come out? 2012, that's right. Actually, the story about how the band got started is that Carl Spackler, aka Chris Reed, whichever, was surfing in California, and there were some surf buddies of his who were from Chicago, and they kept calling out to each other, La Chinga! And he just thought, I think I want to have a band with that kind of a name. That's really cool. So that's where that came from, but of course now we know what that means. But anyway, this is their debut album. This was something they recorded quite locally, I think maybe even in Chris, in a kind of a home studio or something like that, locally mixed. And oh, this is actually pretty cool. I didn't realize this. I just got this last month because the CD was not available for a long time. This was only available as a download for a long time, but it was recently re-released, limited to 60 copies, so I had to get one. And I realized they've got 3 bonus tracks on here, and actually the song I wanted to feature from this album is one of the bonus tracks. Anyway, really cool stuff. Again, we've got that strong 70s influenced vibe in the music. You might pick up on a little bit of, here and there you might think, doesn't that sound a bit like an AC/DC riff, just done slightly differently? Or I noticed that a lot while listening to some of their albums, especially the new one. We'll get to that in a moment, though. So actually what I really wanted to do was, I picked out a song called The Reaper to play as a sample from this album. But, you know, guess what? That's a bonus track. I'll play it anyway, but just to let you know, there's some pretty good variety on here. There's a song on here called Snake Eyes. It's got this breakdown in the middle, this almost like, you know, kind of Latin, like Santana-like percussion section, you know, with drums and percussion going on. Not exactly that Latin type sound, but, you know, similar. And then we've got a song called Country Mile, which has got more of a kind of country rock sound to it, southern rock sound to it. Normally I'm not so much into that, but, you know, as an added flavor, I think it's pretty cool. They've got their own song called La Chinga, which I think is cool because, you know, really cool bands should have their own song, right? I mean, Black Sabbath has a song, Black Sabbath. Iron Maiden has an Iron Maiden song. Voivod has Voivod. Deep Purple has Deep Purple. No, wait a minute. Sorry, Deep Purple, the band, is named after an old song. Sweet kind of did it because they had a song called Sweet F.A. I'm sure you can think of other examples. But anyway, their song La Chinga is actually a really cool song, as pretty much every song on this album is. So, there's also Caddy, that's really cool too. Early Grave, yeah, so, When the Universe is Mine, just really, really cool stuff. But anyway, let's just listen to a brief clip, about 30-40 seconds from The Reaper as a bonus track on the CD issue. Here we go.
Your own hand
So La Chinga are actually based in Vancouver, and as I read somewhere, I think they're actually from a municipality called Langley, which is right next to the town where I grew up, Surrey. Surrey has kind of a bad reputation though. But anyway, based in Vancouver. So they do most of their shows around in British Columbia. I know from their Facebook page that they sometimes get a work permit and they head south to Washington, I guess. I don't know where else they go, but probably pretty much a Pacific Northwest band. And there was talk about them on Belgian Jasper's channel that they might be thinking of getting out to Toronto in the spring, like around May next year. But anyway, moving along here, 2016, their second album, Freewheelin', carries on pretty much in the same vein as the first album. However, there are a couple of extra things on here which are pretty cool. They've got a couple of songs that feature acoustic guitar, and they're very nice. The song Faded Angel, it's that kind of a acoustic thing. I don't know, maybe something like the Black Crowes might have done, or maybe a Whitesnake, older Whitesnake style. Anyway, it's really cool. And then after that, they follow it with Mountain Mama, which has, again, this kind of acoustic guitar, hard rock guitar, slight bit of a southern feel to it, but not so much as on the previous album, that song I mentioned. KIW is for Keep It Wizard. Whenever I sent these guys a message to say, like, previously, can I use your music, or here's the video, or hey, I just got your new album, they always signed it with Keep It Wizard, their email return. Gone Gypsy is a cool song. I think they've got a video for that. They do their own videos. They include live recordings of the band, some photos of the band, and then all this like 70s stuff they put in. So their videos are really kind of fun to watch for that kind of 70s nostalgia thing. So the track I want to play from here is Mountain Mama, because I think that's one of the real standout tracks, especially because it's one that introduces the acoustic guitar, which is a nice touch and makes this album something different from the first one. So let's hear a bit from Mountain Mama. La Chinga, by the way, you can find their stuff on Bandcamp. Everything is there for a download. I don't know what they have of CDs now. Also, the latest album, as I said, is on Ripple Music. You can probably order that from somewhere outside of Bandcamp as well, probably direct from Ripple Music. Actually, that's where I ordered. I ordered it directly from Ripple Music. This, however, this is their third album, Beyond the Sky. It was 2018 now. Was it 2018? Yes, it was. Okay, Beyond the Sky. I love this back art here. This is the first one I got. This, for me, this was the best album for a while, but because I've been listening to all of them recently, I found I really like all of them. They all have their own style. This one here, the sound is a little, the guitar sound is a little more metal rather than just hard rock, but the song styles are still hard rock. It was the song Killer Wizard that I really loved. That the riff is awesome, the video is really fun to watch, but there are just so many other good tracks on here. Yeah, pretty much all of them. Warlords is cool. Beyond the Sky, the title track, is really cool. Wings of Fire, Mama Boogie, Black River. Yeah, I mean, just anything from this album is really great. So what I want to do is feature a little bit from the opening track, Nothing That I Can't Do. So let's just check that out for a bit here then, from La Chinga's third album, Beyond the Sky.
Shoes, feeling fine, sucker proof. Bumps and bruises along the way, but I'm a born hellraiser and I'm here to say there's nothing that I
I guess I should also make mention of the other labels. So the debut album was on Red Sun Records, and then the next two albums were on Small Stone Records. However, they move up here for their 2023 release, like 5 years after. And of course, the reason why there was such a delay was that we fell into this whole COVID period, right? Where there was a lot of restrictions on where you could go, who you could meet, and so on, when you could meet. So it took a little bit of a while. I think they already had material ready a couple of years back. But finally, here it is, Primal Forces, the latest album, just came out in October on Ripple Records, as I've said. Do check out the label if you're into that more kind of, you know, stoner rock, doom metal, psychedelic type stuff. Here it is as a digipack. We've got the band members in here. We've got the CD. And this one here, it's off to a really cool start. Light It Up, opening track, was what we started the video with. Ride the Dragon, Bolt of Lightning, also songs Rings of Horsepower, Electric Eliminator. I think you can hear samples of those in Belgian Jasper's video, really short samples, but you can probably also find some of it out there on YouTube. And I guess, yeah, you can probably find it, well, around anyway. Just if you like what you heard so far, this is more or less more of the same. However, you can see the Grim Reaper here on the cover, and that is actually a reflection of how the music has gone. It is still that 70s influenced rock and roll, a lot of Easter eggs, both in guitar riffs and in lyrics. But we are looking at things a little bit darker perspective in some of the songs there. So I'm kind of feeling that after a few listens now, like listening to all the albums together. There's more of that fun, good times, I'm a Gypsy, and, you know, Mexican Mouthwash, Rotten My Gut, kind of fun time songs in the first three albums. This one's got a little bit more of a darker feel to it. Probably it's like, you know, like you imagine like these three guys head off in the bush to party, and then they encounter a bear, and then they encounter a killer with knives, and then they encounter some zombies, but after 3 days they get out of the bush and they're a little bit scratched and beaten up and the clothes torn, but, you know, they're ready to make new music. So that's kind of the feeling on here, like we've escaped a close call and we're a little bit more aware of this dude hanging around. But yeah, some of the songs here you can probably pick out. There's one that really draws from Deep Purple's Stormbringer. Some other ones here, I thought I heard some AC/DC. I think I heard some Aerosmith. What they often do is they take the original chord from the band and they change it up a little bit. So you're like, hey, wait a minute, isn't that? Oh no, it's a little bit different. But it's all done intentionally. They're not trying to rip anybody off. They're doing it as Easter eggs and paying tribute to the artists that influenced them. So, cool. Let's listen to... What did I pick from here? I think I picked Motor Boogie, the last track, which actually is one of the darker tracks. So let's hear a bit from Motor Boogie, the final track on the album. Alright, so one of the bands I recently picked up, and I think I mentioned them in a video not too long ago about new material I got. This is Xul, X-U-L, Xul. That is the name of the thunder god of the Aztecs? Or was it the Mayans? Hold up everybody, we're going to do a take two for this band. So first of all, as you just saw a moment ago, I found out that the actual pronunciation is either Xul or Xul, depending on which source. I'm going to guess the band is probably going with Xul just because the Z sound sounds a bit cooler than the SH sound. As you saw, yes, the Mayan god of thunder and lightning, the end of the Mayan calendar, or just meaning the end. So probably lots of cool stuff to think about with that band name. They are from Vernon, British Columbia, which is in the Okanagan Valley. That is British Columbia's wine country and fruit country. And just to the north of them is Kelowna, where there are also quite a few cool bands. We're going to talk about one of those later on. Their style is basically it's black metal, but there are some death metal elements. So I noticed on their Bandcamp page, they go by black metal or blackened death metal. They do also have some lighter parts. As you heard just a moment ago, there was this nice acoustic bit, which was from the final track of this album, the track called Petrichor. This is their second full-length album, What Lies Hidden. They actually had a full-length some years back, and I've forgotten the name. I'm just checking Bandcamp now. I don't see it listed there. They did have an EP, though, going back to 2015 called Extinction Necromance. And this album here is actually from 2019, so let's hope they're getting something together again pretty soon there, guys. So at the beginning of this video, I said we were going to hear music from 3 of the 5 bands I'm talking about. One of them that was not going to be included was Zul, because I just hadn't heard from them. But this morning I sent them another message saying, hey, the video's coming together tonight, so please let me know. And then they replied saying, well, we did actually send you a message before, but we'll forward that one more time. And then anyway, one more time, yes, please go ahead and use the music. So that's great. We are going to be able to hear something from this black metal, blackened death metal album, which is really cool. And so thank you so much, guys, for getting back to me. Sorry, I think I sent you messages from Facebook and I don't know, wherever. But anyway, much appreciated. I get to share your music here. So picking out songs, of course, there are a lot of tracks I really liked. Like the opening, King of Nothing, was cool. Actually, the next one, Sideblinder, was also really cool. Treachery, I really liked. Petrichor, once again, we heard the opening of that, really nice opening beginning part. It goes into a really cool track. But the very first time I listened to this, the song that stood out for me was Black Oak Heart. And when I received this CD, and I sent a message to the band saying, hey, the CDs has arrived safely. I've listened to it once through. You know, the song Black Oak Heart is the one that really stood out for me. And they replied, whoever it was from the band, replied saying that that song was written after the passing of his mother. And so this is very emotional, and it's very cathartic for him to sing it live when they perform it live. So that's really cool. So even though there are lots of really cool songs on here, Black Oak Heart has this really cool riff part. I want to share that with you. So here we are from Vernon, British Columbia. Zul, I guess. And let's listen to a bit from that Black Oak Heart. Here we go. So next up, you can see behind me here, these are stickers from Ye Goatherd Gods. Ye Goatherd Gods might be familiar to some of you, wasn't to me. But anyway, it's a poem written in 1593 by a Sir Philip Sidney, quite a long one there, about 2 shepherds who are lamenting, what was it, lost love or something like that, and they are making their pleas to whatever forces of nature there are around them. So it's really hard to see this album cover, but because it's all like red on black. But interesting thing, I was checking out some information about them earlier today, and it is a Jeannie Keebler, who is the guitarist and songwriter of the band. And of course, we're working together with a vocalist, and we've got bass and drums in here as well. So I actually found there was an interview, a very brief interview or article with her in Calgary Sun, Calgary Times, something like that, because the band is from the Calgary area. But anyway, here we are, Ye Goatherd Gods. Now, they are, when you first start listening, it sounds like it's that melodic black metal style, melodic with more of a death metal style vocals. In fact, the closest, I felt like they sounded really familiar. The closest to me is the vocals are very similar to Amon Amarth. Actually very clear, very easy to hear the words in the songs, but very natural. And the thing I found really cool about it the first time I listened to it was that the vocals are almost like the bass. the core, and the music goes off in different directions. You might get different styles of music here and there, but always the vocals are kind of the same thing. So it's really kind of cool like that. You just get that one vocal style the whole time, but we start off with this kind of atmospheric black metal. There's also some traditional metal, maybe a bit of speed metal, some kind of more death metal, but I feel there's a lot of traditional metal in the music on here, which is really cool. And again, maybe Amon Amarth is probably the closest band I can think of that sound like them. I really enjoyed listening to this album. The sound quality is really good. It's very well done, and it's one of the things that amazes me because, you know, this year I've been picking up albums by Overkill and Blind Guardian, Exodus, Metallica, you know, all these old bands who've been on, you know, big labels and who've been releasing albums for 40 years, and you expect really high quality from them. This is, I think it's an indie band with an indie label, but, you know, the songwriting is great, the playing is great, the sound quality is great. This just sounds so professional. And it just makes me think it's really kind of a shame that they're probably working in the kind of Calgary, maybe Edmonton, Regina, Saskatoon area. I'm not sure how far out they spread, but this guy's got a really good act together, really good act going on. Okay, change of camera. The camera battery died, so we're going to finish this video with the iPhone. So I was talking about Ye Goatherd Gods, their album Ashes Shall Be Made of Them. I think it's from 2018, isn't it? So it's been a while. We're hopefully going to hear some new music from these guys. What song was I going to pick? It's tough to say. Hell Driver, Bones of Humanity, Arduous March, I Am Reborn, The Dreaming City. I forget. I picked one. But it's actually on a playlist on the iPhone, so I can't check it right now. But yeah, okay, so I picked one song. We're going to listen to a sample of that song, and I'll put the song title on the screen. Here we go, Ye Goatherd Gods. Take it away.
With intentions of gold, no one knew that they had sold their souls and drowned with their dead eyes. Reveal fame, military might.
Okay, so next up, this band comes from Edmonton, Alberta, and this is a band called Juliet Ruin. They had an EP, and then they had a full-length album, Old Stardust, Love and Chaos. And then a couple of years back now, 2001, they released another EP called Dark Water. Now this is really cool. I ordered this CD from them, and I got the other CDs that I ordered and I didn't get this, so I sent them a message and said, hey, how about that CD? And they were like, oh, very sorry, it's coming to you right away. And then this was in the package with it. So Juliet Ruin, thank you very much for sending this one along too, because now I get to hear 4 extra songs. Now it's really cool. Juliet Ruin, depending on where you look, they're either listed as alternative metal or metalcore. And I'm going to go more with the alternative metal because I don't feel the metalcore sound is so prevalent. On the album here, we are talking about female vocals by Jess Fleming, clean and harsh vocals, as well as 2 men in the band are also providing harsh vocals in certain parts. So I really like there's that good variety there in the vocals there. We've got, I find it like this, like the female harsh vocals and the male harsh vocals kind of are a bit like an electric guitar and bass guitar, because the male vocals are a bit lower in register. So there's that really kind of nice feel sometimes when they combine them together. Interestingly, I read an article, an interview with Jess Fleming on a website called Metal Goddesses, and she was saying that she really worked very hard to develop her singing more. She watched some YouTube videos of people who give vocal classes both for clean and harsh, and she feels much more confident about her vocals on the Dark Water album. And what's very interesting is I think the way the harsh vocals are used are more like an accent point. The clean vocals, I feel, are much more on this one here, with the harsh vocals coming in to stress certain points or emotions in the song. There's probably more use of harsh vocals on here by Jess herself, as well as, of course, the addition of the male members. The male members do not provide any harsh vocals on Dark Water, and I think they decided that her singing ability has just improved to such a level that the male singers are not going to be adding their vocals. I think it would be a shame. I think they could still add them in parts, because having layers of vocal tonality is really cool. But yeah, she, even though she said in the interview that she was not quite so confident in her abilities when recording this album, her harsh vocals are really fantastic. And I think it's the one song called FTW, which stands for The World. She lets out just this one heck of a scream at the beginning, harsh vocal scream, and really holds it. So fantastic. I listened to this album 3 times now, and I really wanted to pick a song from this one because this is the one I ordered. Oh, by the way, you should see the CD. CD inside is cool because it's got the same artwork there. But anyway, I was really thinking to use the song Spite, which I really liked because it has this more rapid fire, harsh vocals, but then gets into clean vocals and a very melodic chorus with some pretty fantastic guitar playing. I mean, this is again another example of a band that doesn't probably work in such big circles. I'm sure they probably play mostly around Edmonton, maybe around Alberta and Saskatchewan, the bigger places around there, but they just sound so damn good. Like, they really know how to put songs together, how to play, how to make use of their abilities. It's great. I don't have so many albums like this in my collection. Probably the closest is a band called The Order of Chaos, who are also from the Edmonton area and also have a female vocalist. That might be the closest to it. But for me, like, this is just something really refreshing from a lot of the other stuff that I listen to, and I think they do a fantastic job. Yeah, so I really wanted to feature Spite, and so, you know what, I do like the overall production quality on this one better. I mean, this is good, but I just feel it's even better on this one, and I feel it's, I don't know, there is definitely like an improvement. The band is getting better, Jess is getting better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna feature Spite from this one, and damn, what song was it I wanted to, I think it was Cosmic Vertigo. So let's just hear a clip from Spite, from, what was it, Old Stardust, Love and Chaos, and then from the Dark Water EP, let's hear a bit from Cosmic Vertigo. At this point, I want to extend a big thanks to everyone, Chinga, Ripple Music, Ye Goatherd Gods, and Juliet Ruin for giving me permission to feature their music in the video. I really think just me telling you it's good, maybe you might want to check it out, but if you can actually hear a bit of the music, I think it just helps you decide that much more if you really want to check them out. So the last band I want to talk about is a band called Pharm, that's spelled P-H-A-R-M. So they're from the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia. Anyway, we've got Kelowna, we've got Vernon, and farther south we've got Osoyoos. Lots of beautiful scenery around there, by the way. It's also BC wine country and lots of fruit, but that's beside the point. So anyway, Pharm are a three-piece band. They have one album out, and unfortunately, it seems to be only available as a download now. When I inquired about CDs, they replied. They said, we just sold out of CDs at our last show a couple of weeks back, but when they get more, they're going to let me know. In the meantime, I have listened to some of their songs. You can hear the album on Bandcamp. You can hear their music on YouTube. Imagine this. It's a three-piece, right? Did I say that? Imagine this. You've got a band that are inspired by AC/DC and Budgie, by Rush 2112, and by Primus. And then put them together to create what is basically a kind of stoner rock, progressive rock. So taking the progressive rock ideas, but creating them with stoner rock sound and style. It's unique anyway. I thought it was really interesting. If they don't get a CD out anytime available soon, I'm just going to order the download. So I did say, if I get the download, then can I feature the music in the video? But I think I told them I was going to talk about Chinga and Soul and these other bands, and they said, oh, that's cool. Yeah, we're friends with Chinga and Soul, and yeah, great. But they didn't say, yeah, go ahead, get the download and use the music. So I'm not going to feature any music from Pharm, but you can check them out, as I said, Bandcamp and YouTube. And that there wraps up this video. So once again, thanks to everyone for getting back to me. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. If you like what you heard, do check out the bands. See you in another video soon. Take care all, and bye.